this is about lockdown love. So you'll have some women that are attracted to the bad boy types, and they like men who are locked up or men who look like they've been locked up. And that is true. And so the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of times you'll have women that'll say, "Oh, I don't like a thug, and I don't want to be with jailbirds, and I don't want to be with bad guys, and I want somebody decent." But there are women that are attracted to guys who are, the bad boy types. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know if it's a trend, or maybe it's the way they look. Maybe they feel that it's attractive. You know, maybe they're looking for that type. I don't know. But I'll be honest, what comes with it isn't good. I can just say that much. A lot of times there are people that are in situations that are unfortunate, and they didn't ask to be there, and they didn't ask to be locked up, and it's an unfortunate situation, and that is rare. So I'll get to that later. But you'll find some women, they'll write to these guys, they'll pen pal. They might meet these guys through a friend that is married or is seeing someone that's locked up. And so all the women will travel together and in a group, like carpool, and go to visit men that are like locked up in jail or prison. And a lot of times what happens is, like, if the woman is married or she's seeing someone like that, her husband or boyfriend will ask her, "Do you have a friend or someone that can talk to my buddy in here, because he doesn't have anybody that writes to him?" So a lot of times they'll write back and forth love letters or regular letters to try to get to know you, and then they know all the right things to say to woo you or to get you, emotionally involved with them, so that you can pay more attention to them and write back, because they long for the outside attention, for you to send money to them on their books, give them care packages, make it accessible for them to call you, and so that they can have phone contact. It's the closest thing as to having contact with the outside world and society and people. And if they are in fact lonely, like if everybody's turned their back on them, a lot of times they want that contact, the need to have other human contact and feeling that someone loves them. And then there's some people who are just really predatory, and they just want someone to write to them and send them money so that they can operate in the prison how they normally do, and they may not even really be getting out. And so some people have a more real, sincere intention of having other human contact, while others may be just predatory, and they're just trying to test people to see how far they'll go. And so a lot of times in these prisons, they'll have like visitation days, and you can meet them behind glass. You can meet them like in a yard, and sort of like have a picnic. You can bring family and kids and maybe people related, but you have to go through like what is almost like airport security, where they're checking everything. And a lot of times they do this because they don't want you to bring contraband, like sharp objects, weapons, drugs. But a lot of times, somehow, some way, people will get clever and clever and clever with it, and they'll slip drugs, they'll slip all kinds of things into the prisons. So a lot of drugs are found in prisons, and there's a lot of savvy ways that prisoners will make weapons out of some of the simplest things, like razor blades and whatnot, pencils, whatever they can find that they can make sharp. It could be as simple as a toothbrush. So you have people, they'll tell you all these things when they're locked up, whether they did it or not. they'll make up stories. You don't know if they're in there for murder, they're in there for extortion, killing, robbing, child molestation. Some people will tell you part of what they're in there for, and others won't tell you anything. They'll make up a story and totally lie. So you have to be aware of those type of individuals. But there are women that are prison wives, and they have the conjugal visits. Some of them have children by these men. Maybe they knew them before they got locked up, or maybe they didn't even know them before they were locked up. They met them while they were locked up because of a girlfriend, going up there, and then she puts them on to a friend or somebody that wants some company. So the reason in doing this is because a lot of times there are some women that make it look like, oh, I don't want to be with a thug, I don't want to be with a knucklehead, I don't want to be with, somebody that's involved in crime. But there are some women that are drawn to guys that are like this, and I don't know what they get out of it. I don't know, maybe it's some kind of trend for some people. I don't know what it is, but I'm not attracted to any of this. I just know some people who had went through some situations with people that were locked up. And this is a woman visiting a boyfriend or husband behind glass. And so there's a phone, and they have everybody's phone where they can hear your conversation. So you have to be careful about certain things that you say. But if you're just talking to them about, the kids, the family, or, oh, I can't wait for you to get out, and blah, 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 blah. You're talking on the phone, and I guess they give you like maybe 30 to 40 minutes phone conversation. I don't know how long it goes, but I know some people will go up there and they talk behind glass. It depends on what they were in there, they're locked up in there for, will depend or determine on what kinds of visits they have. Now, usually people who are married to people who are incarcerated will get conjugal visits, and that is close contact where you can actually stay, and they have you, since you're legally husband and wife, and you can produce papers showing that you have a marriage certificate. They allow, and I think you have to wait a couple of months or a couple of weeks or so, and they schedule you to have conjugal visits. So you'll stay there, and you get to stay like what looks like an apartment or something like that, a room, and it has a little kitchenette and all this kind of stuff. So because legally you're married, so some women will become pregnant and have kids with these guys, or they have kids, maybe they had kids before they got locked up. So that's the unfortunate situation. But you'll see high profile prisoners, like people that are famous like Suge Knight, and some of these guys will have a wife and they have girlfriends coming to visit them, and they're not faithful. They probably were promiscuous on the outside, and they are still the same way locked up. So they have their wife writing them, their girlfriend writing them, and then other side women writing for them, love letters and whatnot, and sending them money and stuff is what their intentions are. It's not genuine. It's more about themselves. And a lot of times they'll use threats and coercion to get women to respond to them, because they know that women are like real emotional about contact with their spouse. So some people, our family members, will become really emotional, and they give a lot of support. And then you have some family members, maybe they know why the person's locked up, and maybe something happened in the family where they hurt someone, and so they will cut all ties off with that individual. And so that's also a telltale sign that the person might be in there for like murder. They might have did something really bad like child molesting, or a number of things like that. So this person loves and supports someone who is currently incarcerated. So some people don't have anyone, and they just need that close one-on-one human contact. They have no one writing them. They don't have anyone to turn to. And then you got situations where women are feeling lonely, and if they feel like, you know, they want to be married and they don't know what to do, sometimes they will marry guys like this. I think it's risky. So I would call them codependent. They long to feel love, need the need to be needed. They seek constant approval of others, desperately wanting to have a sense of worth, and they want to control and rescue and fix people's situations. They think they can fix a guy or change the guy. There are some women like that. They meet these bad guys and they want to fix them. They feel guilty for pursuing their own identities. They expect others to make them happy when they're not happy in their lives. So they think, to validate their life, let me get married to someone that'll make me happy. And those are really all the wrong reasons to get in those type of relationships. And that's why sometimes they often don't go well, or they're not happy when they're in those relationships. So the hardest part about people being locked up, and this could go either way. It can go for females that are locked up, especially for females that are locked up. But for the males that are fathers, when the kids come up there to visit the fathers and they have to leave, it's just horrible, because kids cry. They're saying, "Daddy, Daddy, are you coming home with us?" And it's heart-wrenching. So that's, I know, is a really bad, sight to see. Kids crying and pulling and yanking because they want the father to be released, and he can't. And those are the unfortunate things that happen when you're incarcerated. But unfortunately, these are issues that happen in people's lives. Some of this I wouldn't want to be involved at all. Now, I know there are some situations where maybe you have a family member and he got into some trouble and he got locked up, and you want to be supportive, and or maybe the person didn't do it and he's just at the wrong place at the wrong time. But this is this is their life.